I can't stand a bully. I can't stand to see innocent people victimized by government every day in this country. And it's no exaggeration to say that the greatest source of injustice in the world today is the United States federal government. The federal government of the United States of America has become extremely corrupted, extremely overgrown, extremely good at ripping you off, extremely good at, I've seen him kill himself, and to keep this system going would be extremely irresponsible. What we need for the Libertarian Party to truly take leadership with our values, with our principles, to show the rest of the country why this message speaks to every single human being. I mean, you guys have all heard this before. I don't need to tell you. Everybody's a libertarian. They just haven't figured it out yet, right? And we say this kind of jokingly, but it's true. It is absolutely true. Every human being with an independent will, with a desire to be free, to have that will respected in the world, they believe in freedom. Whether they articulate it the way that we do or not, whether we can ever convince them to be engaged or not. But these principles have that potential to speak to everyone when we can communicate it with a practical policy based in our principles that can unite every American around freedom. And that's what localization is. Instead of saying we're going to keep the system going, I've heard it said in the debates, we need to put someone up to represent the Libertarian Party who's going to represent a clear contrast to the old parties. Cheeto Jesus, Sleepy, Gropey, Dopey Joe, Creepy Uncle Joe, that angry socialist who just wants every American to have their own vacation home, Bernie Sanders. But what sets us apart? What really gives us the ability to do that? You've heard freedom described as, well, it's everybody gets what they want, right? Well, this is the manifestation of that in politics. On this platform, to say, we're going to take the federal government through a peaceful, orderly, responsible bankruptcy process that leaves us with 50 independent states and up to 562 sovereign native nations. And the thing about localization, it's, to me, even as someone who's been around for a long time, who's been involved in politics, since I got out of the Marine Corps, at least, it's actually really been a beautiful experience for me as I've been challenged on this campaign. Oh yeah, localization solves that too. Oh yeah, it solves that too. It really is the ultimate everybody gets what they want strategy. You're a liberal, you live in a liberal state, you're a conservative in a conservative state, guess what? You don't have to see each other as enemies anymore. This is the cure for polarization. You can say, look, okay, you're a fellow American. I want you to be able to live how you want in your community with an experience under a system based on your needs and your values, not the needs of special interests or corrupt politicians in a far-off capital. And we lose as libertarians when we play their game, when we make it about issues, when we argue issues. How many of you guys like arguing on Facebook? Yeah, right. Some of you are like for arguing, maybe, no? But really, do we make any ground arguing issues as libertarians? It doesn't convert people. I mean, I've never heard anybody say, well, I became a libertarian because there was this guy at the bar yelling, and he turned the volume up just enough. I realized he was right about everything, and then I became a libertarian. And I've heard a lot of interesting conversion stories. Before I get to the mass appeal of this and how it really applies to everything, there are two issues that I think are really important for libertarians to own. I mean, obviously, there's the drug war, there's militarism, there's the welfare, warfare state, all these big things that libertarians talk about. But there's two that are near and dear to me that I think, again, this platform uniquely addresses that should be addressed. Really, it should have been addressed a long time ago. First one is the treatment of Native Americans in this country. It is an ongoing embarrassment, a national shame that has never truly been properly addressed. And I don't think anybody in this room would say, oh yes, we need to keep the tribal governments as sovereign entities, wards of the feds. We need to keep, well, we can't trust them with freedom. They have to be reporting to the Bureau of Indian. No, nobody here would say that, right? Again, localization. It's in the exact phrase that I use to explain this platform every time. 50 independent states, up to 562 sovereign native nations. We can give every tribe in this country the opportunity to be sovereign, and the best that the federal government can do to honor the treaties that have been broken. You guys want to see an end to that national embarrassment? Yeah? Okay. The other one, military veteran suicides. Just another national embarrassment. It's literally insane that we have let this go on as far as we have. And in my case, I got out of the Marines, I went to a shrink at the VA because I was having trouble sleeping. I said, hey, can I get something to help me sleep? No, we don't do that, but I can give you 5 other prescriptions. I walked out of there with a little brown paper bag. 3 of them had suicide listed as a side effect. These pills might make you better, but they might make you kill yourself. Because that's what we're telling veterans today. And of course, it's beautiful to see cannabis as legal as it is throughout the country. And I was very fortunate, as somewhat of a punk libertarian. I said, no, I'm not going to follow doctor's orders. I'm not going to take all these pills. This is nuts. And maybe if I hadn't had access to cannabis, I would have been another statistic. I was never suicidal before that. And I've seen guys go through that, coming back, where they're just, a little bothered. They get on pills. They drink themselves into a bottle, and then they die. And I think it's actually a very underreported statistic. It's gone from 22 a day to 20 a day. 22 is the big thing. We're going to say 22 a day because I know that's an underreported statistic. How many of y'all are veterans in this room? Oh, yeah. Way more than the general public. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you stand up and blow smoke up your butts. It's not that kind of party, right? But I do want to say thank you for being willing to stand up. I'm sorry for your servitude. Welcome home. And thank you for continuing your spirit of service along with everybody else in this room by being a part of the Libertarian Party. We can own this issue. And the answer is simple. And this is one case where we didn't want to say, privatize everything, right? Well, in the VA, it's actually really simple. Privatizing the VA, in my terms, means we give every single veteran in America one ownership voting share. Give power to control the VA to the veterans, get the politicians, bureaucrats, and pharmaceutical special interests out of the way, end the drug war, give us the right to medicate with the freedom that we fought for at least, and I guarantee you will not have 22 veteran suicides a day. So like I said, with localization, every time I turn over a new stone, it's like, wow, yeah, even that, it's amazing for that. I was at a Cal-Exit conference for California independence a few weeks ago in Sacramento, and you might think, if you're a libertarian or a conservative in California, oh no, California goes, by the way, if California fell off into the ocean, you guys wouldn't miss it here in Kentucky, would you? No? Okay. But if California goes independent, people there might be worried, oh, it's going to go a little bit more liberal. But here's the thing. If you're any kind of genuine fiscal conservative, you don't want to be ripped off by the state of California. You have to live there for family or work or whatever reasons you're willing to pay the paradise tax. Well, guess what? If California goes independent, even if it goes a little more liberal in flavor, the viciousness of that racket, its effectiveness in ripping off the taxpayers of California when it is separated from the national fiat currency system, national legal system, national corporatist regulatory policy, it becomes a fraction. They said like down by 3/4 at least. Everybody gets what they want with government localized, customized. It is more transparent, more efficient, more effective, more in line with the people it's allegedly serving. And this message is already bringing people together all over the country. This is why last year my Twitter feed blew up when I was accidentally plagiarized by a Republican Idaho state representative. who is delivering a speech to Republicans using these talking points. This is why Cynthia McKinney, 6th-term Democratic Congresswoman from Atlanta and the Green Party's 2008 nominee for president, has already endorsed me and this platform. This is so popular, so universal in its appeal. Even Donald Trump said that he would vote for me as long as he could be a president of a state with no Muslims or Mexicans. I don't know where he's going to find one, but good luck. So, how many of you trust the federal government to protect your rights? Oh, no? Okay, nobody here? To protect you in general, to keep you safe, to provide for you? No. Do we need a bigger centralized government?
Hell no.
To protect us from the potential evils of a small localized government?
No.
No way. Do you want a candidate who you can trust to put forth a message that you don't have to apologize for? You don't have to apologize on it not being principled enough. You don't have to apologize for it not being pragmatic enough. You don't have to apologize for an electoral history or for anything else that you know is going to make it harder for you to communicate to other people in Kentucky why people like us are willing to show up and stand up to government and do whatever it takes to achieve nothing less than a world set free in our lifetimes. Thank you very much.